There are comebacks that make you smile. And then there are comebacks that shake the very ground you walk on. In the automotive world, 2024 was a year of mourning. The supercharged 6.2-liter Hellcat V8, the heart that had powered a generation of American muscle, fell silent. The 702 horsepower that once terrorized desert dunes, drag strips, and the egos of Ford Raptor owners everywhere was relegated to the history books. The Ram 1500 TRX, the apex predator of the pickup kingdom, was put out to pasture. We were told it was the end of an era. The final curtain call for the fire-breathing V8 truck. But here is the truth about legends. They don't die. They don't fade away. They go into hibernation. They wait for the regulatory landscape to shift, they wait for the hunger to return, and then they rise from the ashes with a vengeance. This is not just a refresh. This is a resurrection. This is the 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT. It has returned to reclaim its throne not just as the most powerful production gas pickup truck in the world, but as the undisputed king of the road and the dirt. Welcome back to Drive Time. Today, we are going on a deep dive. We are stripping down the engineering, the history, the luxury, and the sheer brutality of the most outrageous pickup truck ever conceived. This is the story of the comeback king. To understand the magnitude of this return, we have to rewind the clock to a world still grappling with a pandemic. The year was 2021. Supply chains were broken, and electrification was the only word on any executive's lips. It seemed like the era of large displacement was over. But in a secret corner of Auburn Hills, Michigan, a group of engineers decided to do something utterly insane. They took the 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi V8, the very same engine that made the Dodge Challenger Hellcat a cultural icon, and they carefully shoehorned it into a half-ton pickup truck. But they didn't just drop it in. They built a fortress around it. They gave it 13 inches of front suspension travel, 14 inches in the rear. They wrapped it in 35-inch tires. They gave it 702 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. It was a declaration of war. It was a direct, unapologetic middle finger to the Ford F-150 Raptor, which had dominated the high-performance off-road segment for over a decade. For 3 glorious, tire-shredding years, the TRX ruled with an iron fist. It was the truck that every enthusiast lusted after. And then, in 2024, the plug was pulled. The Hellcat was retired. The TRX was a dinosaur. A glorious, fire-breathing dinosaur. And as we all know, the dinosaurs went extinct. But extinction, as it turns out, is just a temporary condition when you have a dedicated fan base and a shifting political landscape. So, how did we get here? How did a truck that was declared dead suddenly roar back to life with more venom than ever? The answer is a mixture of political pragmatism and corporate listening. In early 2025, the regulatory headwinds in the United States began to soften. The stringent emissions targets that were strangling V8 development were relaxed. The pressure to electrify every single nameplate eased. For Stellantis, a company with a rich, storied history of V8 performance, this was the green light they had been waiting for. But let's be clear, this wasn't just about regulations. This was about the voice of the customer. There is a massive, passionate, and deeply committed audience that refuses to accept a silent, battery-powered future for their trucks. These aren't just vehicles to them, they are extensions of their identity. So, in early 2026, Ram made the announcement that sent shockwaves through the automotive world. The TRX was coming back. But the executives at Ram and the newly revived SRT division had a mantra. They called it, the last tenth. It was a philosophy about chasing every single ounce of potential, every fraction of a second, every decibel of sound. They weren't just bringing the TRX back, they were bringing it back better, faster, and more vicious than anything we had ever seen. Let's dive into the heart of this mechanical symphony. Pop the hood of the 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT, and you are greeted by a masterpiece of American engineering. the 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi V8. In its previous iteration, this engine was already a marvel, pushing out 702 horsepower. But the engineering team at SRT went back to the drawing board. They upgraded the engine management software, allowing for more aggressive timing and fuel mapping. They added new, high-flow fuel injectors to keep the combustion chambers fed. They enhanced the supercharger's efficiency. The result is a staggering 777 horsepower. 777. It sounds like a slot machine jackpot because in the performance world, it is. Peak torque rises to 680 pound-feet. To put that into perspective, the Ford F-150 Raptor R, its primary nemesis, makes 720 horsepower from its 5.2-liter supercharged V8. That means the new TRX SRT holds a significant 57 horsepower advantage. That's not a close race, that is a canyon of difference. And the torque? 40 pound-feet more than the Ford. The 8-speed TorqueFlite automatic transmission has been completely recalibrated to handle this massive increase in twist, with clutches and torque converters beefed up to survive the abuse. This is not just an engine, it is a beating heart that pumps pure adrenaline directly into your soul. But numbers on a spec sheet are just static data. They don't convey the visceral, gut-wrenching experience of actually putting your foot down. The 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT is a physics-defying machine. Despite weighing nearly 6,400 pounds, more than 3 tons, it rockets from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.5 seconds. Let that sink in. This is a truck with the aerodynamic profile of a brick wall, riding on massive off-road tires. Yet it accelerates faster than a Porsche Cayenne, faster than a BMW M3, and faster than most dedicated sports cars that cost twice as much. How is this possible? It is a combination of the astronomical power output, the full-time four-wheel drive system that puts the power down with ruthless efficiency, and the standard launch control system. When you engage launch control, the TRX manages the engine RPM and transmission settings to optimize traction off the line. The result is a launch that pins you to the seat, compresses your spine, and leaves your internal organs somewhere behind you. It doesn't stop at 60. The top speed is electronically limited to 118 miles per hour due to the tires and drive shaft harmonics. But trust me, hitting 118 in a vehicle this size feels like you are breaking the sound barrier in a fighter jet. The original TRX did 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. The new SRT shaves a full second off that time. A full second is an eternity in the automotive world, it is the difference between being fast and being legendary. However, straight-line speed is only half the story. The 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT was engineered from the ground up to be the ultimate desert running, rock crawling, mountain climbing machine. The suspension hardware is nothing short of military grade. It rides on second-generation Bilstein Black Hawk E2 adaptive performance shocks. These are not your run-of-the-mill dampers. They feature internal bypass technology and remote reservoirs, allowing them to adjust their damping rates in real time, thousands of times a second, based on the terrain you are traversing. This provides an incredible 13 inches of suspension travel in the front and 14 inches in the rear. That's over a foot of vertical wheel movement at each corner. To put that in perspective, most off-road trucks are lucky to get half that. This is purpose-built for high-speed Baja-style running. The ground clearance is a towering 11.8 inches, allowing you to clear boulders, logs, and obstacles that would high-center a normal truck. The approach and departure angles are equally impressive, allowing the TRX to tackle extreme inclines without scraping its bumpers. The 4WD system features a BorgWarner full-time active transfer case with a 2.64:1 low range for when you need to crawl over rock gardens. At the rear, there is a heavy-duty Dana 60 axle with full floating axle shafts and an electronic locking differential. This is serious, race-proven hardware usually reserved for purpose-built trophy trucks. The brain that controls all this mechanical wizardry is the Ram Active Terrain Dynamic System. This isn't just a simple traction control system. It is an intelligent co-pilot that manages damping, throttle response, steering weight, transmission shift points, and traction control based on the specific terrain you are driving on. You can select from an array of drive modes, each uniquely calibrated for the environment. Sand mode allows the rear wheels to spin slightly for better flotation. Mud mode optimizes throttle control to prevent wheel spin on slippery surfaces. Snow mode softens the throttle response to keep you safe. Rock mode engages the low-range transfer case and locks the rear differential automatically. And then there is Baja mode. This mode turns off most of the nannies, stiffens the suspension for high-speed whoops, and sharpens the throttle response to an almost violent degree. It transforms the 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT into a desert missile. But it's not just about the modes. It's about the confidence they instill. It's the feeling of absolute, unshakable control over a machine that, without these systems, would be utterly undrivable. It's the reassurance that no matter what the world throws at you, the TRX has the capability to not just survive it, but to dominate it. Let's step back and look at the visual aggression of this machine. The exterior design of the 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT is a masterclass in functional styling. This is not a subtle vehicle, it does not blend in. It announces its presence from a quarter-mile away with a visual impact that is impossible to ignore. The front end is dominated by a massive, gaping grille that serves a dual purpose. It looks incredibly menacing, but more importantly, it feeds a massive volume of cold air directly into the supercharger intake. The engine needs to breathe, and this grille ensures it has an endless supply of oxygen. The composite wide-body fenders flare out aggressively, adding 6 inches of width compared to the standard Ram 1500 Rebel. This additional width isn't just for show, it is a necessity to accommodate the massive 35-inch tires and provide the stability needed for high-speed cornering on loose surfaces. The performance hood is another functional masterpiece, featuring a prominent scoop that forces cold air directly into the supercharger, along with heat extractors that vent hot air out of the engine bay, keeping the engine temperatures in check even under extreme duress. At the rear, you'll find powder-coated bumpers and 5-inch dual exhaust tips that look like they belong on a semi-truck. They are a constant reminder that this truck means business. The badging on this truck tells a story of heritage and power. The SRT badge on the grille and tailgate represents its rank in the elite street and racing technology division. This is a historically significant moment. This is the first Ram truck to wear the SRT badge in 2 decades. The last time we saw this combination was the Dodge Ram SRT 10, powered by a Viper-sourced 8.3-liter V10 engine that made 500 horsepower. That truck was a legend in its own right, a street-focused bruiser. But the TRX SRT is a completely different beast. It is a truck that can dominate the drag strip, the desert trail, and the luxury car pool line in the same afternoon. For those who want even more exclusivity, Ram offers the Bloodshot Night Edition for an additional premium. This limited-run appearance package adds a hand-painted blacktop upper body with a contrasting flame red center hood stripe. It features unique bodyside graphics that scream aggression, red interior accent stitching, and beadlock-capable wheels. It is about as subtle as a kick to the teeth, and it is absolutely glorious. Now, you might expect a truck this focused on raw, visceral performance to have a Spartan, hard plastic interior that sacrifices comfort for weight savings. Prepare to have your expectations shattered. The cabin of the 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT is a sanctuary of luxury that rivals high-end European sedans. The seats are wrapped in premium black Natura Plus leather, complemented by perforated suede inserts that keep you firmly planted in the driver's seat during aggressive maneuvers. The front seats feature 12-way power adjustability, memory settings, heating, ventilation, and even massage functions. Yes, you can get a therapeutic massage while piloting a 777 horsepower truck through a rock garden. The rear seats are equally opulent. They recline for passenger comfort, and they also feature heating and ventilation. This is class-exclusive equipment. No other performance truck on the market offers this level of rear seat passenger pampering. This is a truck that can comfortably carry 4 adults across the country in absolute luxury, while also being able to jump over sand dunes at 80 miles per hour. The technology inside the TRX is equally cutting edge. The driver is greeted by a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster that is fully customizable. You can configure it to display traditional analog gauges, a massive navigation map, or a full suite of performance pages showing horsepower output, G-forces, and 0 to 60 timers. There is also a full-color head-up display with a 10-inch field of view that projects vital information directly onto the windshield, so you never have to take your eyes off the road. The centerpiece of the dashboard is a massive 14.5-inch Uconnect 5 touchscreen, which is the largest infotainment screen in its class. The software is incredibly fast, intuitive, and packed with features. It controls everything from the audio system to the off-road terrain settings and the 360-degree camera system. The audio is handled by a 19-speaker Harman Kardon premium sound system with a dedicated 10-inch subwoofer and a 900-watt amplifier. Whether you are blasting heavy metal to match the engine's roar or listening to classical music to calm your nerves after a stressful drive, the sound quality is breathtaking. Dual wireless charging pads ensure that both you and your passenger stay connected, while the suede headliner and real carbon fiber trim add a tactile sense of quality that elevates the entire driving experience. No discussion about the TRX is complete without acknowledging the elephant in the room, or rather, the blue oval in the room. The Ford F-150 Raptor. This rivalry is the stuff of automotive legend. It is Ford versus Ram, Blue Oval versus Pentastar, two of the most powerful production pickup trucks ever built, locked in an eternal battle for supremacy. The Raptor was the undisputed king of the desert for over a decade. It had no competition. It dominated sales and the cultural conversation. Then the original TRX arrived in 2021, and it changed the rules of the game. Suddenly, the Raptor had a rival that was faster, more powerful, and had a V8 that sounded like the gates of hell opening. Ford responded by creating the Raptor R, a version of the Raptor equipped with a supercharged 5.2-liter V8 making 720 horsepower. It was Ford's counterpunch. But the new 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT is a knockout blow. With 777 horsepower and 680 pound-feet of torque, it outmuscles the Raptor R by 57 horsepower and 40 pound-feet of torque. And here is the final dagger: the TRX starts at $99,995, while the Raptor R starts at nearly $110,930. The TRX is cheaper and more powerful. In the world of performance trucks, that is a decisive victory. To truly understand the significance of this truck, we need to pay homage to the SRT legacy. Street and racing technology. It's a name that carries immense weight. SRT was founded in 2002 with a simple mission: to create high-performance vehicles that pushed the boundaries of what was possible. They gave us the Viper, a car so raw and untamed that it required a special license to drive in some countries. They gave us the Neon SRT-4, a compact sedan that embarrassed sports cars costing 3 times as much. They gave us the Charger and Challenger Hellcats, 700-plus horsepower family sedans and coupes that defied all logic. Each vehicle was a statement. Each was a middle finger to the idea that performance had to be compromised for safety or efficiency. The SRT badge is not just a sticker, it is a promise. It is a promise that the vehicle has been engineered to the highest standards of performance. It is a promise that every component, from the suspension bushings to the exhaust valves, has been designed with a single goal in mind: to make you feel alive. And the 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT, as the first off-road product to emerge from the relaunched SRT division, carries this legacy with immense pride. Let's talk about the driving experience in more depth. The sound is the first thing that assaults your senses. Upon startup, the 6.2-liter V8 erupts with a deep, guttural roar that vibrates through the chassis and into your bones. The supercharger whines incessantly at idle, a high-pitched scream that promises immense power on demand. At cruising speeds, the cabin is surprisingly quiet. The acoustic laminated glass and active noise cancellation do a fantastic job of keeping the mechanical symphony at bay. But the moment you mat the throttle, the dam breaks. The supercharger whine escalates to a deafening pitch, the exhaust opens up into a thunderous roar, and the world outside becomes a blur. The throttle response is instantaneous, with no lag whatsoever. The 8-speed transmission snaps off shifts with brutal efficiency, accompanied by a loud pop from the exhaust on upshifts. The steering is surprisingly precise for a vehicle of this size. It offers excellent feedback, allowing you to place the 6,400-pound behemoth exactly where you want it on the road. On a winding canyon road, the TRX handles its weight with shocking composure, thanks to the adaptive suspension that firms up to control body roll. But the real magic happens when the pavement ends. On a dirt road, the 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT transforms from a luxury cruiser into a rally monster. The suspension comes alive, absorbing washboard surfaces, potholes, and ruts with an almost supernatural ease. The 35-inch Goodyear Territory tires provide monumental traction, digging into the dirt and propelling the truck forward. In Baja mode, the TRX encourages you to drive sideways. The rear end steps out predictably, and the massive power allows you to hold a controlled drift for as long as you dare. And then there are the jumps. The TRX was designed for high-speed desert running, and that means it can handle air. You can launch this truck off a berm, fly through the air with all four wheels off the ground, and land with the kind of controlled composure that would make a professional rally driver jealous. The suspension absorbs the landing impact effortlessly, allowing you to immediately get back on the throttle and charge toward the next obstacle. It's an addictive, almost therapeutic experience. It's the feeling of complete, unadulterated freedom. You might be wondering if you could actually live with this truck on a daily basis. Is it practical? Can it handle the school run or a trip to the grocery store? Surprisingly, the answer is a resounding yes. The ride quality on smooth pavement, thanks to the adaptive Bilstein shocks, is plush and comfortable. The cabin is so well insulated that you can easily hold a conversation at highway speeds. The seats are supportive and comfortable enough for cross-country road trips. The massive bed, while lifted high off the ground, is functional and can handle hauling tasks. However, there are undeniable compromises. The fuel economy is a major consideration. The TRX SRT returns an EPA estimated 10 miles per gallon in the city and 14 on the highway. That's 12 combined. During spirited driving or off-road excursions, this number can drop even lower. You will be spending a lot of time at the gas pump, and you will become best friends with your local fuel station attendant. The sheer size of the truck is another consideration. It is over 19 feet long and almost 7 feet wide. Parking it in tight urban garages or narrow driveways requires careful attention and precise maneuvering, even with the 360-degree camera system. But let's be honest, if you are considering buying a 777 horsepower supercharged V8 truck, fuel economy and parking convenience are likely not your primary concerns. The 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT also excels in towing and payload, despite its performance orientation. It boasts a maximum towing capacity of up to 8,100 pounds and a payload capacity of around 1,300 pounds. This means you can haul your race car, your boat, or a heavy trailer to the desert, unload your toys, and then proceed to dominate the dunes with the same vehicle. The integrated trailer brake controller, combined with the high-output engine and robust cooling system, makes towing a stable and stress-free experience. The high-strength steel frame, which has been reinforced in key areas, ensures that the chassis remains rigid and resistant to twisting even under heavy load. For those who want to customize their rig, the aftermarket support for the TRX is already massive. From bumpers and light bars to performance tuners and suspension lifts, the possibilities are endless. But honestly, the 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT comes so well equipped from the factory that you might not need to change a thing. It is a complete, turnkey desert dominator. Let's talk about the finer details of the engineering that make this truck so durable. The cooling system is a marvel. The TRX SRT features an enhanced cooling package that includes a high-capacity radiator, an engine oil cooler, a transmission cooler, a power steering cooler, and a front axle differential cooler. This ensures that even when you are pushing the truck to its absolute limits in the scorching desert heat, temperatures remain within safe operating parameters. The brakes are also worthy of mention. The TRX SRT is equipped with massive 6-piston front brake calipers and 2-piston rear calipers, clamping down on ventilated rotors. This provides the stopping power necessary to haul this 6,400-pound beast down from high speed safely. The regenerative braking system, while not primarily for fuel economy, helps to keep the brake pads and rotors cool by assisting in deceleration. The exhaust system is constructed from high-grade stainless steel to withstand the extreme temperatures generated by the supercharged V8, and the 5-inch tips are not just for show, they help to expel the massive volume of exhaust gases efficiently. When you consider the pricing of this monster, it starts to make even more sense. The 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT has a starting MSRP of $99,995. Add the mandatory $2,795 destination charge, and you are looking at a bottom line of roughly $102,790. For that price, you get the most powerful production gas pickup truck in the world, a luxury interior that rivals German sedans, and off-road capability that can hang with purpose-built race trucks. If you opt for the Bloodshot Night Edition, which adds the exclusive paint, graphics, and interior accents, the price climbs to around $112,785. That is still less than a base Ford F-150 Raptor R, which starts at $110,930 and often climbs well past $120,000 with options. The TRX SRT is not just an incredible truck, it is an incredible value proposition. You are getting more power, more torque, and more exclusivity for less money. It is a combination that is hard to ignore. The order books for the 2027 model year opened in the summer of 2026, and dealerships have been swamped with orders ever since. The demand is astronomical. Production is limited, and the Bloodshot Night Edition is a strictly limited run package. If you want one of these trucks, you need to act fast and be prepared to secure your allocation. For our international audience, particularly our viewers in Australia and New Zealand, there is some excellent news. Ram is actively considering expanding the TRX's availability to right-hand drive markets. Given the immense popularity of high-performance pickup trucks in those regions, it would be a natural fit. However, the conversion process to right-hand drive is a complex engineering challenge involving the steering rack, pedal box, and dash layout. It may take some time to get the TRX SRT down under, but given Ram's aggressive approach to these markets, it is highly likely that we will see the TRX SRT on Australian shores within the next year or two. The demand is certainly there. Australians have always had a soft spot for massive V8s and brutal off-roaders, and the TRX SRT ticks all those boxes. It will be interesting to see how it stacks up against the local heroes and the already established American imports. One thing is certain, when the TRX SRT does arrive, it will create absolute chaos on the Australian off-road scene. As we reach the final segment of this deep dive, it's important to reflect on what the 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT represents in the grand tapestry of automotive history. We are living in an era where governments and corporations are actively pushing us toward electric vehicles. They are telling us that V8s are dirty, that they are obsolete, that they have no place in the future. And then comes a truck like this. It is a rebellion. It is a loud, proud, 777 horsepower rebellion against the forces of silence and efficiency. It is a reminder that there are still people who value emotion over economy, who value sound over silence, and who value the visceral thrill of internal combustion over the sterile efficiency of electric motors. The TRX SRT is the pinnacle of the ICE, internal combustion engine, era. It is the last hurrah of a dying breed, and it is going out with a bang, not a whimper. It is a truck that makes you smile every time you start it, that turns heads wherever you go, and that creates memories that will last a lifetime. It is the ultimate expression of automotive freedom. So, what is the final verdict? The 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT is not just the best performance truck on the market, it is one of the most remarkable vehicles ever created. It defies physics, it defies logic, and it defies the current trends of the automotive industry. It offers a driving experience that is unmatched in its intensity and joy. It is a vehicle that can comfortably carry your family to the movies, tow your boat to the lake, and then launch itself over a sand dune at 100 miles per hour, all in the same day. It is a testament to what happens when engineers are given a blank check and told to build the most insane thing they can imagine. The rivalry with the Raptor R will continue, but for now, the crown sits firmly on the head of the Ram. The 777 horsepower, the 3.5 second 0 to 60 time, the luxurious interior, and the unbeatable price point make it the undisputed champion. The Raptor R is a fantastic truck, but the TRX SRT is just more. More power, more capability, more presence, and more soul. The comeback king has returned. It was taken from us, we mourned its loss, and we thought we would never see its like again. We thought the era of the supercharged V8 was over, replaced by silent batteries and synthetic engine noises pumped through speakers. But the 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT proves that the spirit of American excess is alive and well. It refuses to die. It is a defiant roar in the face of an increasingly quiet world. It is a celebration of engineering over regulation, of passion over pragmatism. It is the ultimate tribute to the internal combustion engine. It reminds us that sometimes, the best things in life are the ones that refuse to go quietly into the night. So here is to the comeback king. Here is to the 777 horsepower supercharged V8. Here is to the noise, the dirt, the speed, and the absolute, unadulterated joy of driving. Long live the king. Long live the 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT. Thank you for joining us on this massive deep dive here on Drive Time. If you enjoyed this breakdown of engineering and passion, please make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. We want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments below, is the 2027 Ram 1500 TRX SRT the ultimate comeback story, or are you Team Raptor? Which one would you take to the desert? We read every single comment, and we love the discussions that you guys bring to our community. And remember, in a world that is constantly trying to make things smaller, more efficient, and more sensible, sometimes, you just need to be ridiculous. Sometimes, you just need 777 horsepower and a supercharger that sounds like the end of the world. Drive safe, drive fast, and never stop chasing the last tenth.